So we're about to mount the motor now. So how we're going to go about that is we're going to go off this rear point here where the rear swing arm pivot shaft usually goes through. So we'll machine some bushes up for that side. We'll put a bar across here and we have to hang it downwards due to we can't hit the sprocket, so we can't have it in line. So we've got to hang it up high like that, easy as it sounds. Have some droppers for the pickup points there for the shaft that's going to run through there. And as for the front, we'll quickly cut that out for the now, and we're going to mount it off these two front bolt holes. So we're going to fold some stuff up and mount this motor. I want to bore you off a million drilling videos, you've seen it all before, so about to cut it off on the bandsaw, nice and clean. I like the bandsaw because you know there's no sparks, there's no smell, real accurate cut. So just going to cut it off. This is our front hinge mount and fold it up. First revision in the bin. I forgot to put the starter motor in, but man, it was going to work out really well. Had it on the angle, so it ended up that angle there, then back that way, so it's perfectly level. I'm going to attach it to this lower cross member here, but she ain't going to work, so round two. Just to redeem ourselves, and we're going to repurpose this. Ended up just flipping it around, putting it on this cross member here. Ended up making some spaces, real simple. You can see it's on an angle, angles out that way, got some support on the back. End of the day, it's only a golf cart. It's not worth trying to make this look really nice, or the way I do things, it'll just never get done. So hence why everything's MIG welded. Like I haven't used a MIG in years, especially for structural stuff like this. So just use the MIG for tacking. It's just a lot easier than trying to have two people out there. Just been making this as I go sort of thing. There's been no set plans or measurements really, just got the motor sitting there and make it all work. So now we're just going to run the TIG along here though, because that's the only weld everyone's going to see. And as for the back, just going to do the old school sneakies and just probably, oh no, I might TIG it up, we'll see, but yeah, definitely going to TIG that front face just because that's the only one you'll see. But as I say, it's not worth trying to make it aesthetically pleasing, it's just a golf cart. Got the front mounted, so as you can see we've made that cross member, some ugly MIG welds in the end, and then we made these spaces up and utilised that plate because it was all bent on the correct angle it needed to be, and that's it. So yeah, don't know if I'm happy with it, but it's going to work. As I say, it's not worth overcomplicating it, putting too much thought into this or it'll never get done, so it's going to be strong enough. Oh yeah, and on the back side, you might have seen it, it's got a gusset in there as well. And as for the oil cooler fitting, don't worry, I've thought about that. I'm going to be running a banjo bolt, so the oil cooler line will come out this way. But that's the front done, so now we need to move on to the back. So we're about to mount the rear now, so what I'm going to do is use a bit of stud bar to go through there. This is where the factory swing arm pivot shaft goes. So we're going to machine up some acetyl bushes that will go in there, put some stud bar through there, and then we're going to run a bridge across here and then have some droppers down here. Reason being why we can't do anything fancy is because the sprocket's in the way, so we've got clearance issues to sort. So yeah, just keep it simple and then we'll brace it up. Here goes our acetyl bushes all machined up now, so it's got to tap them in there and then we can start mocking the rear up. Alright, so now we're going to make some fish plates for this chassis rail here. Give it a lot more strength because they're not the strongest rails and they're pretty thin to start with. So once we make the plates, we can then weld the support bar in that's going to hang this motor in the rear. Good to go. Here goes our little fish plates. So what we're going to do now is cut out the tube that's going to run between them and then tack it all onto the chassis. Crossbars are ready for welding now, so all we did is quickly throw it in the lathe, remove the mill scale, weld prep the ends. Now we can weld it into the chassis shortly. So what we're about to do now is get the center measurement from the center of that stud there to the center of the chassis rail here. Then we can make our hangers for that tubular cross member you've seen just before. So how we're going to do that is by, you can see our mark there on the chassis, so roughly around there. So I'll measure it accurately, but just give you an idea, it's roughly around 100 mil or so. So yeah, that's how we work out the center to center. Here's the parts for the rear engine mount now. Who needs CAD or $100,000 laser cutter when you got a couple of hands and a grinder? That went from one extreme to the next. Look where we're at now. We ended up making completely new chassis rails. Everything was so twisted it wasn't funny, so we had to cut sections of the chassis from the front and back, splice it, join it up, so then we had a datum point because there was no way we could work with those old rails. In the end, there were no true datum points to go off on this cart. Basically, it was like trying to work with a 6 meter dried out piece of wood. It was just nothing dimensionally correct with this whatsoever. So we end up making new chassis rails. You can see, cut out those rusty parts down there. So looking at it from this angle, all done. One thing I mucked up, as you probably noticed, I should have cut them on an angle, then they wouldn't be exposed, but nonetheless we'll cap them off later on down the track. But yeah, just wasn't thinking at the time. So what we're up to now is making the mounting plate there. I haven't thought of the shape, but there it is roughly. So then we can mount the rear of the motor, then we're completely done with the mounting side of things. Then it'll be all the fun parts like making the turbo manifold next, then making the intake plenum and all that type of stuff. Sweet, so we'll cut our hanger plates out, fish plates, whatever you want to call them. So we'll weld the two inside ones on first, so that way they can get on the back side and weld it up, and then we'll put the end cap ones on, and then we're going to cap them off. So let's get into it. Here we have it all tacked on now. As you can see, we've welded up underneath there. It's got to go and do that side now, but I won't record all this. It's the same principle basically. So yeah, we'll get it all done. There we have it, the world's first official vrod motor mounted into a golf cart. Very overkill engine mounting system, but it's given a lot of strength in the chassis. We've still got to add those plates under there, but we'll do that once we flip the golf cart upside down. It'll be a lot easier trying to weld it, as I've still got a few welds I've got to do from the chassis when we had to split it and cut it to try and true everything up, make everything align. So nonetheless, there we have it, nice and strong. So basically getting to this stage is like, what's a good analogy? Say like a paint job on a car. We've done all the panel work now, so all the hard part. So now it's all the fun part now. We get to do the painting side of things. That's like mounting the turbo, making the exhaust, making the plenum. And then once all that fab work's out of the way, we can start running water lines, oil lines, and do all the wiring and all the fun stuff. So yeah, made a great progress, considering it was only just to be a little film project. I was only going to do a little bit here and there, but I thought bugger it, we might as well get all the hard work out of the way, and then we can jump back on the RX2 and just work between them as we're waiting on parts for each one. So there we have it, world's first V-Rod golf cart coming up.